Sox come to town. It's the perfect Father's Day gift for Dad. Fox Saturday Baseball starts right now. Welcome to the Chevrolet pregame show on Fox. Friday was a night of many happy returns as Mr. Ramirez was back in Boston for the first time in enemy gear.
Designated hitter number 99, Manny Ramirez.
Singled in 5 trips. He struck out twice, including to end the game, but he is back at it against his former squad today. And with that, we welcome you live to Fenway Park for Fox Saturday Baseball, presented to you by Chevrolet. Now, in just a few minutes, most of you are going to stay right here to see and hear how Red Sox Nation greets the 2004 World Series MVP, as it is day 2 of Weekend at Manny's, or at least Weekend with Manny's. The other big story in the world of baseball happened Friday in our nation's capital. That is where the president took in Steven Strasburg's record-setting start against the president's favorite team. Strasburg struck out 10 White Sox, giving him 32 so far, the most ever in a player's first 3 starts. Strasburg settled for a no decision as Chicago won 2-1 in 11. Well, today, some of you will see the Nats and the White Sox this afternoon. Adam Dunn, second in the NL in homers, while Paul Konerko is third in the American League. The rest of you get first place Minnesota and reigning AL MVP Joe Mauer taking on Ryan Howard in the Phils. Howard had his 24th career multi-homer game last night and finished a single shy of the cycle in the Phillies' win. Well, back here at Fenway Park, of course, every game is Big Papi's Day. Tomorrow it'll be your Papi's Day, as in Father's Day. Let's take a look at how some dads played a role in the big leaguer's life.
My dad, he's the main reason why I'm here right now. When I think about Father's Day, I think about me and my dad being on the field and just having fun playing.
You know, I realized the effort that it took for my father to spend the time that he did with me, the love that he showed. You realize how hard that is as a parent.
I owe him a lot, for sure, for being the foundation of my baseball career.
And everything I've ever needed, they've made sure I've had it. If we didn't have it, they wouldn't have got it. So they've catered to all my needs, and I'm gonna make sure I do the same for them.
About my equipment, took me to my games and supported me when I was down, when I had a bad game. They were there to pick me up.
It's a special day, and it's become even more special with my own kids. And it's almost like I get to reflect and appreciate your kids more.
A lot of sacrificing and hard work and encouragement, of course, and support the whole time along. It was there to be your coach and mentor along the way.
It's one of those things where you always have that special thing with your father from the days when you're a little kid playing in the backyard, playing catch with your dad as a little kid. That memory is always something I think that you'll never forget.
This game is an amazing game, and to be able to have a father to share that bond with, there's nothing like a game of catch. Even now, 29 years old, and to be able to go in the backyard and have a catch with my dad, it's amazing.
And obviously a happy Father's Day to all the dads out there tomorrow, including one special one on the east side of Cleveland. Before we get you out to your ball game, a quick reminder, we are less than 3 weeks away from the Midsummer Classic right here on Fox. And for the first time in 21 years, the game will be played out in Anaheim. 1989, remember, Bo Jackson led off the game against Rick Russell going deep. 448 feet later, Jackson was named the game's MVP. See who will shine this year on Tuesday, July 13th at 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Well, baseball's coming your way today from either Boston, Philly, or D.C. First pitch is next.
matchup for you. The Los Angeles Dodgers taking on the Boston Red Sox. And now welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck. That's Tim McCarver. Things look a lot different for the Red Sox in their division these days. They've made up 7.5 games over the last 30 they've played. They're only a game out, and Tim, a big reason why is their DH, David Ortiz.
Yeah, it seems like the more the Red Sox become banged up, the more they depend on David Ortiz. He had a horrible April, batting only 143 with 1 home run. That's 1 home run, but look at his numbers right now.
And that's where he ranks among designated hitters. Meanwhile, for the Los Angeles Dodgers in the NL West division that you always think pitching, and that's certainly the case with first place San Diego. Not the situation, though, with L.A.
That's why it's such an important start for Vicente Badilla. His first start since April 22nd. Joe Torre depending on Padilla to pick up a battered rotation.
Hey, did you hear Manny Ramirez is back, and he's here at Fenway Park. He now wears the Dodger uniform, and fans here serenaded him last night. Manny being Manny. He's always made Tim chuckle like that. And Joe Torre is back. All those years in a Yankee uniform, now with the Dodgers. Baseball next. Day here in Boston. We're at Fenway Park in this good matchup. Two teams toward the top of their divisions, and this game is brought to you by Budweiser, official beer of the thirst inning, the beer that starts with full flavor and ends with a crisp, clean finish. Budweiser, it's what we do. Here's another thing that we do. The Dodgers lineup, and it's brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Matt Kemp leads it off these days with no Rafael Furcal. Russell Martin, Andre Ethier, Manny Ramirez, the DH, James Maloney, Casey Blake, Garrett Anderson, Jamie Carroll, and Blake DeWitt at second base batting ninth. The numbers for Tim Wakefield, it's been hit or miss. Big ERA, and the sprint pitcher profile for Tim looks a lot like this.
See, he's 2-5 on the year. He is winless here at Fenway Park, one of the most popular Red Sox players ever. And the first pitch knuckleball a strike because that gives him the ability to continue to throw knuckleballs after that first pitch. But when he falls behind, he doesn't have that dazzling fastball. 65, 70 miles per hour.
Here are the Ford keys to the game. He's already mad at us because we're making him wait to throw his first pitch. And for the Dodgers, there you go, run on the knuckleball. The Red Sox, Terry Francona said, heck, I'd run on Tim Wakefield. And Boston continue their contagious hitting, and they are on a terrific roll. They were 8.5 games out 3 weeks ago. They're now a game and a half out officially because the Yankees won moments ago. So here we go. First pitch is a ball that misses to Matt Kemp. And Tim, this is a very different looking Dodger lineup and team when Rafael Furcal is not a part of it, and he's on the bereavement list back in the Dominican Republic, tending to some family business.
Yeah, Matt Kemp does not want to be the leadoff hitter in this lineup. Joe Torre would much prefer to have Rafael Furcal there. He is a player in their lineup that is a real force for the Dodgers.
Kemp takes a strike. It's 2-1. Russell Martin will follow, then Andre Ethier. Here's a 2-1 from Wakefield. And a little clunker to short. Scudero picks it up, throws wide, but out, one away. About the defensive lineup for the Red Sox, brought to you by Scott's, and it's pulling names out of a hat these days for Terry Francona in the outfield with all of the injuries. J.D. Drew is out with a bad hamstring. That popped on him last night. I hope he doesn't have to go on the disabled list, so it's Nava, McDonald, Hall in the outfield, Beltre, Scudero, Pedroia, and Euclid, with Victor Martinez catching the knuckleballer Tim Wakefield. And here's Russell Martin.
How about that? The Red Sox have their outfield batting 7, 8, and 9 this afternoon. The last time that happened was when Clay Buchholz pitched a no-hitter, his only no-hitter.
How do you know all that stuff?
We're fed that from Wayne Fiddleman, Brian Biederman, and our terrific crew, Dave Schwabe.
A swinging strike, and it's 0-2 on Russell Martin.
Good dancing knuckleball going straight down to Martin.
And now the 0-2 from Wakefield, and that was 3 pitches, and out number 2. Strikeout number 1 for the Boston right-hander.
Tim Wakefield cannot throw 3 knuckleballs any better than the ones he just threw to Russell Martin. Russell missing that last one by about 6 inches.
Brings in Ethier. And there are the numbers for Ethier, which look very good, but when you compare to what his numbers looked like before he went out mid-May with a broken pinky, they're down quite a bit. He was sitting 392 at the time. That's low, ball 1. 11 homers, 38 RBIs. He's hit just 217 since. 1 home run that came in Cincinnati the other day. In 17 games since coming off the DL. And he gets under this one into right. How far will it carry? Back is Hall. Back is McDonald, and the inning is over. A long, deep fly ball to right center. Ramirez is left in the on-deck circle. What will he do as the DH while the Red Sox come to bat? Bottom of the first, no score. It's brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Scudero leads it off. Then Pedroia, Ortiz. Euclid cleans up. He's at first. Victor Martinez does the catching. Adrian Beltre at third. Billy Hall is filling in right. Daniel Nava, who had a terrific debut a week ago, is in left. Batting eighth and batting ninth is Darnell McDonald. Here's the right-hander Vicente Padilla, and he's at least him a veteran presence for a rotation that's struggling and a rotation that has two rookies that look like they're starting to run out of gas.
And a great presence for the Dodgers last year, 4-0. He did very well in the division series, winning his only start. A dazzling assortment of pitches. However, his last start was about 7 weeks ago. So we'll see.
You say this, okay?
Okay. That was the sprint pitcher profile for Vicente Padilla.
Here's Marco Scudero to lead it off for the Red Sox. Pedroia and Ortiz the next two. And Boston, they couldn't be hotter. They're working on a 6-1 homestand. They have a night game tomorrow night against the Dodgers in a matchup of Kuroda and Buchholz. Terry Francona and his club, they have persevered a lot of injuries. As I mentioned, they're trying to avoid putting J.D. Drew on the disabled list, but here they are, just a game and a half out of first, and Padilla misses with ball one. Terry Francona has been in that corner of the dugout for the Red Sox since 2004, and only one time as his club failed to reach the postseason. As Padilla hits the strike zone, it's 1-1. See good velocity, and as you said, Tim, Padilla was so good, not just down the stretch for the guy on the left, Joe Torre, but in the postseason for Joe Torre, as Torre's taken the Dodgers to the NLCS in his first 2 years with LA. Here's a 1-1 pitch and a pop-up off the fists. Loney shields his eyes and gives way to DeWitt. 1 out.
That was a great shot of Terry Francona and Joe Torre in your picture. And consider this. Joe Torre took over the Los Angeles Dodgers. The prior manager was Grady Little. Terry Francona took over the Boston Red Sox. The prior manager was Grady Little. How many times do two managers face one another from different leagues, and they have taken over for the same guy, Grady Little?
With 1 out, nobody on, the batter is Pedroia, who takes a strike, and you can see the good movement on a 95-mile-per-hour fastball from Padilla. And there are the numbers. Francona won the World Series in his first season. He's won 2 overall, and Joe Torre has reached the NLCS in his first 2 years with the Dodgers. 0-1 pitch is out of the strike zone, a ball and a strike. Pedroia has been fighting through a bad right knee. He hurt it mid-May in an awkward slide at Detroit. His average really suffered after that injury, but he's come on of late. He's had a very good week. And vitally important former MVP in the number 2 spot in this lineup takes outside. It's 2-1. He's got an 8-game hitting streak alive that he carries with him to the plate. Homered here on Wednesday, and David Ortiz has had a massive turnaround with his season with a bat in his hands. Here's a 2-1. 2-2. 96 from Padilla.
You think with that long swing that Dustin Pedroia is going to be behind every fastball. Well, don't toy with him. He may be behind one, and the next one he might pop one out of the ballpark or hit one down the left field line. One of the few players with the long swing who can catch up to the good fastball. His timing's perfect.
The 2-2 is up and away. Russell Martin tried to frame it. Padilla thought he had out number 2. Instead, it's ball 3. A full count.
It was close, but a little outside.
Padilla is 32 years old, born in Nicaragua. 99 career wins. His 3-2 pitch, Pedroia fouls it out of play. The all-time leader as far as wins in MLB history for a pitcher coming out of Central America, Dennis Martinez. Also Nicaraguan. and he racked up 245 victories. Then there's Padilla. Mariano Rivera is number 3 on the list. He's from Panama. 1 out, nobody on. 3 balls, 2 strikes is the count on Pedroia. And a pop-up. Second one to the right side of the infield, and DeWitt, tough to find it, has out number 2. How about the lineup defensively for the Dodgers, brought to you by Scotch? You know that DeWitt plays second. He's handled the first 2. In the outfield, it's Garrett Anderson, longtime Angel, Kemp, and Ethier. Casey Blake, Jamie Carroll filling in for Rafael Furcal. DeWitt and Loney. Russell Martin is an Iron Man behind the plate, catching Padilla, and digging his way in as David Ortiz, who by the end of April they were administering last rites to this guy's career.
Just like last year. 1 home run, a 143 average, and then the player of the month for the month of May. And he had a tepid start in June. Only 1 for his first 26, but he's picked it up this past week.
Hit one into center last night. A home run in the first inning. And that got the Red Sox off and running. They led 3-0 early, were tied 3-3, and then broke loose with a 7-run 5th and won the game 10-6. Manny Ramirez was 1 for 5 in his return, and here's a fly ball on that slow over-the-top curveball from Vicente Padilla. Ortiz flies to left. Manny Ramirez is getting ready to go. Dodgers bat in the second, no score.
Manny Ramirez.
Manny Ramirez is back. The reception split last night, and split, I don't know, hard for us to gauge from up here, but about 50-50 here today.
A little rougher today than last night.
Here's a shot foul on a knuckleball that was up, strike 1. And just like last night, he swung at the first pitch. Last night, he flied out to center, and today he hammered at a high knuckleball and jerked it foul. So much to talk about. So much has been said about Manny Ramirez. Not just since his departure, but heck, while he was here in a Red Sox uniform. Every week there was something different that happened. There was the good, the very good. There was the bad, and then there was the ugly for Manny Ramirez in his time here in Boston. Here's a 1-1. Strike 2.
the ugly beginning, and I guess the beginning of the end, early July of 2008, when he had the dugout spat with Kevin Youkilis, and then Jack McCormick, the 64-year-old at the time, 64-year-old traveling secretary, knocked to the floor by Ramirez.
Here's a base hit through the left side and a 1-2 delivery, and Manny Ramirez has his second hit since coming back to Boston.
And then the complaints by Ramirez of both knees hurting, and then the Red Sox sending for MRIs to Mass General, and the MRIs proved to be no problem. And Manny, I think the coup de grace was when he said, "They're tired of me, I'm tired of them, and then they don't deserve me." That was it.
He's on to start the inning, and James Loney takes a strike. Loney's batting in the number 5 spot behind Manny Ramirez. He takes his lead, held on by Kevin Youkilis. Loney takes inside. It's 1-1. It's Loney now, Casey Blake to follow. Dodgers trying to jump on top here in the second, and that's high. 2 balls and a strike. Well, Manny Ramirez is no doubt a Hall of Fame player, but he did things over and over and over again that any player with lesser talent, it would have been good riddance. But a lot of it was couched in that Manny being Manny category that sometimes was seen as cute. I think sometimes by his teammates, it got on their nerves and wore them out. But it got so ugly at the end, and for those who boo here at Fenway Park, I think they think Manny Ramirez broke that covenant with the fans, as there's a strike. It's one thing to try, not perform, not have success. It's another to have the perception be there that you're not even trying.
Right.
And that's really where it crossed the line, and I think he forced the Red Sox hand, and he forced the Red Sox to get rid of him, and it worked. 3 balls, 2 strikes. There goes Ramirez. The pitch is strike. Throw down to second. It's a stolen base for Manny Ramirez, his first of the year. So a strikeout at the plate, and on the knuckleball, an easy stolen base for Manny Ramirez.
It's very difficult to throw runners out when you are catching a knuckleball. Number one, you have to stay back like Victor Martinez did on that play. And then the throw is late. Ramirez didn't have a particularly good jump. He's not a particularly fast runner. But with all the elements, the knuckleball, the slowness of the pitch, and Martinez not a strong arm anyway, a stolen base easily on the call, 3rd strike.
Martinez struggled early, 1 for 28, trying to throw out potential base stealers. 7 of his last 32, which is a little more acceptable. But as you say, with a guy like Wakefield on the mound, doesn't matter who's back there, teams will run. First pitch, a strike to Casey Blake. Runner at second, 1 out. And that's strike 2. Casey Blake hitting .273, 7 homers, 28 RBIs. Garrett Anderson next. Ramirez takes his lead. Wakefield deals and picks up out number 2 and strikeout number 3. It'll be up to Garrett Anderson. Fox Saturday Baseball is sponsored by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. By the all-new 2011 Super Duty built Ford Tough. And by Sprint, the Now Network. The inning continues here on a beautiful day in Boston at Fenway Park for Garrett Anderson, longtime Angels outfielder, and he takes a strike from Tim Wakefield. That was the first stolen base, by the way, since August the 29th of 2008 for Manny Ramirez. 38th of his career. That got him into scoring position. It came on the strikeout of James Loney. It was followed by a strikeout by Casey Blake. And now the count's 0-2 on Garrett Anderson. Tim Wakefield, who has thrown more innings than any pitcher in Boston Red Sox history, gets a line drive to right, and it gets past the right fielder Bill Hall. In to score is Manny Ramirez, and the Dodgers strike first here. In the second, they lead 1-0. So the stolen base pays off. Ramirez led off the inning with a base hit, and he scores on a 2-out RBI single by Garrett Anderson.
Only the 14th career start in right field for Bill Hall. That's right field anywhere. Only his third start for the Red Sox. And right field at Fenway Park is the most difficult field, right field in the major leagues. Wrigley Field is a close second.
And now with 2 out, first pitch strike to Jamie Carroll.
Garrett Anderson earning his stripes. He hit a home run last night, as you said, Joe, off Dustin Richardson, and then singles in the first Dodger run this afternoon.
This was a Dodger team that added virtually nothing from a year ago. The free agent market, they barely dipped their toe into the water. They re-signed Vicente Padilla. Joe Torre is playing with a group that lost Randy Wolf, John Garland. But his club strikes first here this afternoon. A leadoff hit by Ramirez, a stolen base scored on a hit by Anderson. 1-0 Dodgers after an inning and a half. MLB on Fox. Tune in to win now on foxsports.com/tunein. Make your predictions during today's game between the Dodgers and Red Sox. Hurry up. Your predictions must be submitted by the end of the second. Stick around to increase your chances of winning with the 7th inning bonus question. Winners will be announced on air during the 9th inning. Log on to foxsports.com/tunein to play now. Vicente Padilla fires a strike, and we're underway in the bottom of the second, with the Dodgers leading 1-0 on a 2-out RBI hit by Garrett Anderson.
You read that like you were auditioning for a game show.
But wait, there's more. A fly ball into right field, and with that difficult sun field, Ethier to his right staggers but makes the catch. 1 out. The first 4 have been retired by Vicente Padilla. He never looks happy, Kevin Youkilis. He's always got a scowl on his face. There's Victor Martinez, who's really picked it up with a bat. 8 homers now, a .294 average, 35 RBIs. He has struggled, however, against right-handed pitching. That's not been the case in his career, but this season hitting just .219 compared to .470 against lefties. Vicente Padilla, right-handed, and there's that little floppy curveball that he throws in there for strike one. It's like the Bugs Bunny pitch. He could swing at it 3 times, and Victor Martinez just watched it float by for strike one. And now a fastball at 95 miles per hour. And his shoe tops, a ball and a strike.
Padilla retired David Ortiz on that pitch, that slow curveball, and people at Fenway Park familiar with that, and it goes back a long way.
Here's a 1-1. Ball 2.
Because it was in 1946, the All-Star game, where Ted Williams hit the eephus pitch off Rip Sewell. That was how many years ago? What is that? 64 years ago. Number 9.
Here's a 2-1 from Padilla. And that's off his foot, so a foul ball, 2-2. Well, we had a conversation with Joe Torre about that pitch that Padilla throws, and Torre said, well, when you see it coming, or you know it's coming, you just close your eyes and listen. And there was a pitch to David Ortiz back in the first inning. He has thrown one to Victor Martinez. The first pitch he gave Martinez in this at bat. But his point was, it can be really good or it can be really bad. That breaking ball a little more typical. And it's outside, ball 3, a full count.
We even brought up the example of Bill Lee back in the 1975 World Series Game 7 when he retired Tony Perez. The first time with that eephus pitch, that slow curveball, and the second time, Tony rattled it off the fence and left center field, off the monster.
It's a nice changeup, literally a changeup, a change of pace to flip that thing up there, but too many. If somebody starts looking for it, these guys aren't going to miss it. There's a foul tip, and the count's still full.
Yeah, well, too many, it ceases to be a change.
That makes sense. That's logical. 1 out, nobody on. A full count with Adrian Beltre on deck. Yankees in first place. We'll have an update about the Yankees here in a moment. 3-2 pitch. And it's inside, a 1-out walk. Before the update, we'll remind you that Fox Saturday Baseball, presented by Chevrolet, is sponsored by Budweiser with full flavor and a crisp, clean finish. It's what we do. The walk to Victor Martinez, first base runner of the day for the Boston Red Sox, and Adrian Beltre will dig his way in. Beltre has had a very good first year in a Red Sox uniform. And he hit one of those one-knee home runs down on his right knee last night. Second time he's done that this year. It's like a guy in a beer league softball team. And he took a breaking ball last night in that 7-run 5th inning and hit it over the seats on top of the Green Monster in left.
You talk about a guy going down with the breaking ball. He did that.
And just launched it. 1 on, 1 out, 1 ball, no strikes from Padilla. And time called at the plate. And so Padilla gets to throw his pitch. Here's last night. Down on a knee. And just a blast in the left. He did it earlier in the year against the Tampa Bay Rays down in Tampa. That came toward the end of May on the 26th. And down on his right knee and got it all both times.
How about those finishes? You're going to tell a little leaguer that's the way you hit a ball a long way.
Here's a 1-0 pitch, 1 on, 1 out. And it's outside, 2-0. It's about to get a little more difficult to hit, with the shadow starting to creep closer and closer to home plate as we start a little bit after 4 o'clock. here in the Northeast. Victor Martinez on at first, 1 out, 2-0 pitch. From Padilla. Popped up, foul. See if it stays in play. It may, and it's Russell Martin with Billy Hall in his way, making the catch. 2 out. Let's go for a DirecTV game break. Here's Chris Rose. That looked like Jose Reyes hitting a home run early as the Mets are playing at Yankee Stadium, but this is Curtis Granderson in the bottom of the fourth. A 2-run shot took it from 3-3 to 5-3, and the Yankees hung on to win it 5-3, and that snaps an 8-game winning streak for the Mets. And the only way to watch every MLB game in HD, call 1-800-DIRECTV.
Mets have become one of the more surprising teams in baseball all of a sudden.
One on, 2 out. Here's Bill Hall. Takes a strike over the inside corner. Chris Rose, are you with us now?
Yeah, I was out here, Joe. But I actually enjoyed listening to your broadcast of that DirecTV game break. So actually, if you really want to know, the Yankees are now a half game up on the Rays in the AL East and a game and a half up on the Sox. So back to you, Joe.
Thank you, Chris.
Yep.
1 on, 2 out. No balls, 1 strike on Bill Hall, who's been a very important utility player for this Red Sox team. Heck, anybody on a 25-man roster that's had 8 players go to the disabled list is going to be important. So far today, you have the Yankees defeating the Mets. Phil Hughes gets win number 10, so he keeps adding to his personal high. Toronto scored 3 in the 8th. They defeat San Francisco 3-zip. And Abreu had 4 hits as the Angels pounded on the Cubs 12-zip. That's into the corner, rattles around, and will allow Victor Martinez only to get to second. And it's 2 on, 2 out on a single into the left field corner off the bat of Bill Hall.
Well, Garrett Anderson has more experience playing the monster and the wall, any wall here at Fenway Park, than any outfielder for the Red Sox or the Dodgers. And Garrett played that ball perfectly and got it back quickly to hold Martinez to second base, and that obviously held Hall to a single instead of a double.
Tim, you will always remember where you were when Daniel Nava hit a home run for a grand slam in his first major league at bat.
Yes, I will.
Where were you?
Right here in this seat.
That was last Saturday. Padilla trying to get around a walk and a hit here in the second. And a line drive into left center field. Nava stars on Saturdays. In to score is Victor Martinez. They're going to hold Bill Hall at third, and it's 1-1 here in the second. Paging Dick Stockton from last Saturday here at Fenway.
Bases loaded, nobody out, and there's a drive hit deep to right field, and it is gone. How about that? A grand slam homer for Daniel Nava in his first major league at bat.
You have got to be kidding me.
And now today, Daniel Nava into left center field, back-to-back 2-out hits, and this ties it from number 60.
First pitch last week for a grand slam. First pitch this afternoon to drive in the first Red Sox run.
And now the number 9 man, Darnell McDonald, grounds to the right side, and Blake DeWitt to his left, gobbles it up, throws him out. We are 1-1 through 2 at Fenway. Gosh, it's good to be in this park on this day. Couldn't be any prettier. Back after this from your local Fox station. Chevrolet. Tim Wakefield fell behind 1-0 thanks to his old friend Manny Ramirez, and then Garrett Anderson in the top of the second, and Tim's teammates came up with a 2-out rally to tie the game on a base hit by Daniel Nava. 2-0 is the count on Blake DeWitt, the number 9 hitter. And he gets under this one, flies it into center, and back to grab it. Darnell McDonald, 1 out. And with the bases empty, back to the top of the lineup, Matt Kemp, who was given the day off last Sunday to try and help him clear his head. Then the team had the day off on Monday. Came back, hitting the number 6 spot. Now he's hitting in the leadoff position because Furcal's not here. And they're trying to cut down his swing and make him use the middle part of the field to get him going again. Here's a chopper foul outside third.
Tough to get anybody going against a knuckleball pitcher. How many theories have been espoused about how to hit a knuckleball? Thousands, or at least hundreds.
Here's the 0-1. Down and away.
Duke Snider, the great Dodger great, told me that Gil Hodges had a terrific knuckleball and used to play catch with Hodges on the side.
Here's a 1-1 pitch and a chopper to third. Charging it is Beltre. High throw, safe. As Euclid came off the bag, and that should be error number 12 on Adrian Beltre.
Had the throw been on the mark, Kemp would have been out, but Kemp running hard all the way beat the play. But the throw was high, so it's got to be an error on Beltre.
And it is. That's number 12.
Anyway, Duke Snider told me that he learned to hit the knuckleball, and he was a very, very good knuckleball hitter. Good hitter all the way around, the Hall of Famer for the Dodgers. He learned to hit it by catching it, realizing that when you catch the knuckleball, and he said Hodges had a terrific knuckleball, you stay back, you have your arms close to your body, that's how you catch it, and consequently, he said, if that's how you catch it, then that's how you hit it. And he waited and waited and waited, did the Dukester. The Duke of Flatbush, by the way.
1 on, 1 out for Russell Martin, who struck out his first time up. Pitch out. Trying to catch the Dodgers running. Matt Kemp, the runner at first, has 10 steals, but it's about 50-50. He's been caught 9 times. The Dodgers, it's been a while, since July 7th, 2004, since they last faced a knuckleball starting pitcher. There he goes after the pitch out. Throw down is good, and out is Matt Kemp. As Victor Martinez gets his 9th of the year.
You can see Russell Martin turning around, squaring, putting the barrel of the bat in front of Victor Martinez. That does disturb a catcher, but this throw by Martinez is right on the money. I'll tell you, the Red Sox fans and the players have really learned to respect the man behind the plate. He had a very difficult time throwing early in the year. He worked on it and worked on it to where now he is a representative catcher behind the plate, knuckleball and no knuckleball. And Terry Francona is one of his biggest boosters.
Well, so now Kemp has 10 steals, been caught 10 times. And remember, in April, his general manager, Ned Colletti, was very critical of his base running. And even with the delivery by knuckleball pitcher Tim Wakefield, Victor Martinez had enough time to make that strong throw, get the second out of the inning, and now a 3-1 pitch to Martin is chopped to short. Scudero had to wait. Now he charges and throws it high again. 2 high throws in the inning, and error number 9 now on the season for Scudero.
Yeah, the play by Beltre was a play he had to hurry. That's a careless play by Scudero. He had more time than Beltre did. And Marco throws it high.
So Scudero, who took a cortisone injection in his neck on Tuesday because of elbow and neck pain in his left arm, he's got a pinched nerve up high in his spine. Makes the error. That's number 9. The inning continues for Andre Ethier. It comes up empty, strike one. Ethier fly to center his first time. He started the day hitting .330, second best average in the league. Who leads the National League in batting average? Martin Prado of the Atlanta Braves at .338. First place, Atlanta Braves. They won last night. Here's an 0-1 pitch. Ball and a strike. Atlanta 40-28. They're now a game up on the Mets. And they play tonight at home against Kansas City. Here comes a 1-1. Certainly Russell Martin is a threat to go. In fact, if you look at the National League and really baseball in general, you've got tight races, the East, Central, and West. That's also the case in the American League, especially considering how well the Detroit Tigers are playing. There goes Martin, swing and a miss, throw down, and it gets away from Scudero, stays on the infield, and the stolen base for Martin is number 4.
Now, all the elements right here. A good knuckleball. It's down. A swinging left-handed batter. And it's tougher to throw with the left-hander up there than a right-hander because you can't see where the runner is. So all of the elements meant a stolen base for the Dodgers.
Now base hit can give LA the lead back in a 1-1 game. They've got their best hitter at the plate in Ethier. And he strikes out, almost fell over after coming up empty. The inning is over, and that's 5 strikeouts for Tim Wakefield. And that's 2.5 in the books here at Fenway Park. Tied at 1. Win a new Chevrolet at ChevyBaseball.com. First pitch is strike to Marcos Scudero, who popped up his first time. Scudero, Pedroia, and David Ortiz in a 1-1 game. Padilla has allowed 2 hits. He's walked 1 and struck out nobody. Strike 2. Vicente Padilla joined the Dodgers last August. 5-1 during the regular season overall in the Dodger uniform. Coming off the disabled list today. 0-2 pitch is on the outside corner. Out number 1. Strikeout number 1. That'll bring in Dustin Pedroia, whose good buddy is out in right field. And our good buddy, Ken Rosenthal, is down at the field. Kenny.
Joe, Andre Ethier and Dustin Pedroia watched Game 7 of the NBA Finals together on Thursday night at Pedroia's home. And I asked Pedroia if there were any divided loyalties, and he said, no, our biggest problem was trying to keep the kids from throwing something through the TV. Dustin's son, Dylan, is 10 months old, and Ethier's son, Drayson, is almost 2.
With 1 out, thanks, Ken. Pedroia was trying to pop 1 out of here. That's strike 1. Pedroia talked about his home run on Wednesday. Told Ethier that he hit 1 in preparation for this series, and these are 2 guys that vacation together.
Yeah, right. Went to Arizona State together. Pedroia a year behind Ethier.
There's some vacation photos. That's a rock. That's not a whale they're standing on the right. Pedroia with his shirt coming off. Bottom left-hand corner of your screen. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, there's probably a reason for that, too, because Pedroia is always kidding Ethier, saying, you know, when my career is over, I'm going to go into weightlifting, bodybuilding. I'll be on the cover of those bodybuilding magazines. Pedroia, as everybody knows, is only 5'7".
But he does read those magazines.
He does. He does. He's very interested in bodybuilding.
Here's a shot, foul down the left field line.
That's what allows him to do things like that.
That's been doctored. I'm sure Major League Baseball loves seeing that picture. That's been altered.
Oh, that was good.
That's our idea of what Dustin may look like someday after he gets out of the game.
Wait till he sees that and hears about that.
He gets out of the game. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on. And Padilla brings it a little high, full count. Pedroia, they call him Petey around here, and he's full of life, full of confidence. Talks about the laser show he's going to put on with his line drives all over the park. Any team would love to have Dustin Pedroia.
Got that right.
Full count with 1 out and the bases empty, and Padilla, after the strikeout, watches Pedroia fight 1 off.
Joe, I read a New Yorker article recently about Duke Ellington. And the article, it was a great article, and it talked about the freedom and control with which the Duke orchestrated everything in his song. Extraordinary. And that's really what Pedroia does. He has such freedom and control of movement. That's very difficult for an athlete to combine the 2.
And he flies to his friend Andre Ethier in right. That's 2 Duke references by you, and they're different Dukes.
That's right.
I need to call Krzyzewski and make it a triple. Here's David Ortiz with 2 out and the bases empty.
There was nobody like Duke Ellington. Nobody.
Had a great knuckleball. David Ortiz, his first time fly to left on that slow rolling blooped curveball to the plate. Infield is swung way around to the right. And that's where David Ortiz hits it, but pulls it foul, strike 1. Last night in that first inning, his shot into center. David Ortiz tied Manny Ramirez with his 274th home run in a Red Sox uniform. Ted Williams leads the way. His franchise history with 521, then Yaz. Jim Rice, Dwight Evans, who could handle that tough right field. And then that combination of David Ortiz and Manny Ramirez that was so good They were together as teammates here. Lethal 3-4 combination for 5 years.
Yeah, I think you'd have to say Dwight Evans was the best defensive right fielder the Red Sox ever had.
1-1 pitch is on the inside corner. Ortiz didn't like it. He's in the hole 1-2.
It was a slider in under the hands. That's where American League pitchers try to pitch Ortiz. David thought it was inside. It could have been. Back in there.
And too far in, 2-2. Start looking at the total numbers for Ortiz and Manny Ramirez in their time with the Boston Red Sox. And they've played now just about the same number of games in a Boston uniform. And the numbers actually match up really well. The average is going to be better with Manny Ramirez, but the other numbers are right there. The 2-2 pitch and a strikeout on a high hard one, 96 miles per hour. Second strikeout of the inning for Padilla. Let's go to the fourth, tied 1-1. Is sponsored by Lipitor, by Roundup Pump and Go Sprayer, hard on weeds, easy on you, and by Ink, the new business card from Chase. Make your mark with Ink. This great ballpark in this great city on a beautiful day as Manny Ramirez fouls one back here, strike one. We had a chance to visit with John Farrell, the pitching coach for Terry Francona. And we'll play that for you at some point here during the top of the fourth. It's a 1-1 game. Manny Ramirez, then James Loney and Casey Blake. And a ground ball to short. Scudero to his left. Gathers and throws, and Ramirez was hustling, and he was out by a step. Here's our chat with John Farrell. First question was, what am I supposed to ask the pitching coach when a knuckleball pitcher is on the mound for the Red Sox?
Well, the thing that Tim has done over the last 4 or 5 starts is to create a little bit more action with his knuckleball, which today is moving all over the place. He's created a little bit more arm speed. Going back to early part of the year, he was still throwing strikes, but the action wasn't quite as effective as it's been here the last 3-4 weeks. So he's doing a good job today.
John, why is arm speed so effective?
Well, again, he was throwing the ball over the plate, but to create the violent action that he has to rely on to get quality hitters out, he's been able to do that here more recently.
You look at your big three right now. It'll get better as the season goes on in your rotation, but now your team's starting to score runs for that group, and you have to be excited with the kind of thump you have on the mound and in your rotation with this Red Sox team.
Well, Josh Beckett got off the mound today for the first time, and he's still probably 3 weeks away from going out on a rehab assignment. Dice K threw to hitters today, so he's in line to start next Thursday in Colorado. So we've been banged up at injury, both on the mound and in the field, but things are starting to come together again here.
Tell Francona to leave you alone.
All right. See you guys.
John. It's been a good combination in the corner of that dugout. John Farrell, Terry Francona, and another strikeout for Tim Wakefield. That is number 6. 2 out here in the top of the 4th inning in a 1-1 game.
When Wakefield gets a lot of strikeouts, you know that knuckleball is dancing all over the place. It's only thrown about 60 miles an hour, 65, but trying to time it, very difficult.
There's Casey Blake, bases empty, 2 out. Casey struck out his first time. Made a terrific defensive play here last night. Took a ball inside. Dodgers start the day 38-29. A game behind San Diego in the NL West. They won 9 of 11. They were swept by the Angels last weekend. They went to Cincinnati, won 2 of 3. They lost here last night 10-6. Meanwhile, Boston's now a game and a half behind the Yankees, with the Yankees win over the Mets earlier today. That's outside 2-1. And with 2 out, nobody on, Wakefield misses, down and away, ball 3. By the way, to get Vicente Padilla on the active roster today, Carlos Monasterios, who was the starter and loser here last night, went on the disabled list with a blister on his right index finger. There's a walk, and the first of the day issued by Tim Wakefield. We showed you the National League and how close things are in the races in the East, Central, and West. Same holds true in the American League with the Angels now 2 games behind the Rangers. The Angels pounded on the Cubs 12-zip today, so they're now a half game closer to Texas. The Tigers are just a half game out behind Minnesota. And in the East, it's a 3-team race, and really for the first few months of the season, Tim, it's been a 4-team race in the AL East because you have to add the Toronto Blue Jays in there.
That's right. In the 6 divisions, the biggest lead now is 2 games.
One on, 2 out, 1 ball, no strikes, and now that's low 2-0. Meanwhile, 4 of the 7 teams that are either in first or tied for first at the start of the day did not make the playoffs last year. The team that's got to surprise everybody, they've been able to maintain their lead in the division. It's jockeyed back and forth with the Dodgers, but San Diego, nobody saw that coming.
No.
From the Padres, and they've done it with their pitching staff.
Well, their bullpen has been extraordinary.
Here's a grounder foul outside first. It's 2-2. How about Luke Gregerson?
How about that?
He's right in the middle. He's got 42 strikeouts, 2 walks, only 1 of them an unintentional walk, an ERA of 1.5. And they've got Heath Bell closing games, and that's backing up a young but pretty versatile and deep rotation.
Extraordinary.
1 on, 2 out. Ken Rosenthal, you got any more on the Padres?
Well, I spoke with Jeff Francoeur recently about that Padres bullpen, and he said in his 5 years in the big leagues, that is the best bullpen he has ever seen.
And a reason why they have a 1-game lead over the Dodgers in the West as we play here the 19th of June. And now Garrett Anderson gets out of the batter's box. He's frustrated, or Wakefield is, or something. Wakefield keeps stepping off. Anderson stepped out right on top of the plate as Garrett Anderson. 2-2 pitch. And it was going, and Blake will have to return on a foul ball. look at the pitching in the National League West and the team ERA. Got the Padres are the best across baseball. You've got the Giants third. This is in the National League alone. The Rockies with Ubaldo Jimenez, who's been brilliant,
13-1.
And then the Dodgers, always known for their pitching, 10th in the NL. It's another foul. It's still 2-2 on Garrett Anderson.
Ubaldo Jimenez, 13-1 with a 1.15 earned run average. He has already been talked about Bob Gibson's dramatic year back in 1968 when he had the best earned run average ever, a 1.12 ERA.
The ball's inside in a full count, so Casey Blake will go. Euclid will play behind him. Garrett Anderson, who has an RBI single. Hits one off the end of the bat to the second baseman, Pedroia. Walk a man left. Dodgers have stranded 3. Bottom of the 4th inning, rolls in. We'll talk to Joe Torre in a moment. Tied at 1. Home plate.
Have no idea. I don't think I've ever seen 2 guys dressed like umpires behind home plate. I mean, maybe it's a game they're playing.
With the full deal. The one guy's got a Rolex on.
Yeah.
Looks like. Here's Euclid leading it off in the bottom of the 4th. We just visited with Joe Torre, and we'll play that for you here in the bottom of the 4th. 1-1 is the score, and Euclid takes inside, a ball and a strike. Kevin Euclid, his first time fly to right. Victor Martinez and Adrian Beltre, the next 2. 1-1 pitch is fouled out of play off to the right. 95 miles per hour, and that's strike 2. At the start of the day for the Red Sox, this was the closest they had been to first place since the 3rd day of the season. Remember, they split the first 2 games with the Yankees as the 2010 regular season got underway here on a Sunday night. With that great rivalry. 1-2 pitch is high, 2-2. So it's a Boston team that's 26-12 since the 9th of May. Only the Atlanta Braves are better. at 27-11. Here comes a 2-2. Instead, Euclid steps up.
By the way, that scoreboard has not been updated yet. The Yankees are half a game ahead of Tampa Bay and a game and a half ahead of Boston.
Here's a 2-2 and another foul.
Because of their victory over the Mets this afternoon.
That's very close to the door Manny Ramirez went into during a pitching change.
Yes, it is.
And then everybody waited for his return.
Yes.
It's tough to play this game without a left fielder. There's the door. He had the key. Euclid with that unique batting stance waits for a 2-2 and now lines a base hit into right. And the leadoff man is on for Boston here in the fourth. Here's Joe Torre. First question about his starter Vicente Padilla, and that he had to be happy with the kind of stuff he brought with him to the park today.
Yeah, Joe, the thing I was concerned about was his command, but it looks like he's throwing the ball pretty much where he wants to. I still hold my breath on that Ephus pitch. So.
Yeah, we said, you told us before the game, you just close your eyes and listen and hope you don't hear anything loud.
Yeah, I just want to hear the mitt and say nice going from the dugout, but he's good right now, and his pitch count has been good, so hopefully we can score him some runs.
Hey, what do you sense from Manny Ramirez, your DH for this series, coming back here to Fenway Park?
I think he was excited deep down. He certainly got himself ready to come in here, and as you noticed, he's running hard. He's doing a lot of things. His personality, I think, picked up in Cincinnati, where he knew he was going to have to, come in here and and be proud of what he's doing. And right now I think his at-bats have been quality, and his personality really hasn't changed.
We've got about 30 seconds left. What do you notice about the Dodgers manager in his return to Fenway Park in a different uniform?
It's quieter. It is quieter. I was curious. People have always been nice to me here. They tell me good luck, but I know they're not telling the truth. But the fact of the matter is, I noticed a big difference last night in sort of the intensity in this ballpark. Not that it's not intense, but the Yankees is crazy.
All right, Joe, thanks for your time.
All right, guys.
It's Joe Torre, who was in his third year with the Dodgers, spent 12 years in that dugout in a Yankee uniform. That's inside. And the count now 3-0. After the base hit to right by Euclid. 12 years with the Yankees, Joe Torre won 6 pennants, 4 World Championships. And he, in his 2 years with the Dodgers, has taken his team to the NLCS each year. Started with the Mets as a player manager, then the Atlanta Braves, Cardinals, Yankees, and then L.A. 3-0 pitch is hit high and deep to right. Back at the wall, Victor Martinez says goodbye. And it's 3-1 Boston here in the fourth.
Boy, you talk about a guy sitting in one zone, a 3-0 count. And Martinez just waylaid that pitch. A 95-mile-an-hour fastball that went out faster than it came in.
Now Adrian Beltre takes a strike, and here it is, and there it goes.
Boy, you talk about leverage on a swing. Victor had it on that one to put the Red Sox ahead.
The 0-1 to Beltre is in for strike 2. Victor Martinez now hitting .418 in June. He's been on base twice today. He's just part of the story, though, for the Boston Red Sox and their turnaround. Talked about Ortiz, player of the month for the month of May. But Victor Martinez, since May 19th, has been terrific. Adrian Beltre, the guy at the plate, hitting .384 since May 19th. And that's right at the time that the Red Sox, as a team, started to turn things around, score runs for this starting rotation. It is the only staff in baseball with 3 starters with 8 or more victories. Here comes a 2-2 pitch from Padilla. And Beltre somehow, not only did he get a piece of that pitch, but then flipped the bat up, did a little dance, and caught it in his hand going back to his side of the plate.
How did he make contact? That looked like a pitch out. That's how far back or outside it was.
Here's a 2-2 and another foul tip.
I mean, also, Joe, you're talking about a team that has had their starting outfield, the outfield that started for them in game 1, together for 6 games. Look at the injuries. Outfielders all. And J.D. Drew, they're hopeful he can start on Tuesday, but they just don't know yet.
The 2-2 and a strikeout as Padilla wins that battle, his 3rd strikeout, and the first out here in the bottom of the 4th. Good pitch from Vicente Padilla, a breaking ball on 2-2. So 1 out. You know, early in the year, what they were talking about is how this team was constructed to play defense and limit runs scored against. The question was, would they score runs? And this is a Boston Red Sox team that leads baseball in runs scored. Here's a ground ball to short. Jamie Carroll picks it up and throws out Bill Hall. 2 out.
Leads Major League Baseball in runs, hits, doubles, slugging percentage, and total bases. And it was a team, as you said, built on run prevention.
Here's Daniel Nava, who has an RBI single and now has 7 RBIs in 22 big league at-bats. Of course, it started with 4 coming on 1 swing. And he's 9 of 22. His father, Don, with that, you ought to be able to get a video camera endorsement deal for as much as he's been on TV with the video camera. He was here last Saturday when Daniel homered for a grand slam in his first at-bat on his first pitch seen. We actually have the video that his dad shot when Daniel hit a grand slam, and buckle your seatbelts because it's not very stable, and who can blame him?
He took that video with the camera on his heart.
That's right. He could be a cameraman for MTV. That's fantastic. He said he needed Band-Aids at the end of the game. He'd been crying so much.
What a story.
And the story, I mean, it's almost too long to get into. Where this kid has been and how he was absolutely forgotten about coming out of high school. Had to transfer colleges twice, was undrafted out of college, played independent ball. And the strikeout ends the inning. Russell Martin hangs on, and we go into the 5th. But in the inning, Padilla gave it up. A hit to Euclid, and then this. Bang from Victor Martinez. 3-1. Boston after 4. in the foreground, and here at Fenway Park, it's now 3-1 home team on a 2-run shot by Victor Martinez. Tim Wakefield looking for his first win at home this year. Drops one in for a strike. It's 0-2 to Jamie Carroll, the number 8 hitter. Blake DeWitt, Matt Kemp, the hitters in this 5th, and that's down and away. So you've got Victor Martinez, who has an enviable task of trying to catch the knuckleball of Tim Wakefield. He's homered in this game, and if you ask Terry Francona about Victor Martinez, who never caught a knuckleballer at the big league level, he said the best thing about it is he doesn't care. He doesn't let it bother him.
That's why he's had only 2 pass balls catching Wakefield this year.
There's one inside. It's a full count. The Venezuelan-born catcher Victor Martinez has cranked it up. His home run has the Red Sox on top, and now Carroll fouls one out of play off to the right. That's down and away, and what was an 0-2 start to this at bat turns into a walk. Second by Wakefield. That's how we start the 5th, and now a DirecTV game.
All right, Joe, they're not walking, they're trotting in Philadelphia. Wilson Valdez filling in for the injured shortstop Jimmy Rollins, his first of the year, and then Ryan Howard, he had 2 yesterday and another today. 14 on the season. Kevin Slowey gets tagged for 7 runs in an inning and 2/3. Phillies up 8-3. Remember to watch every game in HD. It's 1-800-DIRECTV. Joe and Tim, back across the field to you.
All right, Chris, and now Ryan Howard is 7 for 14 with 4 home runs over his last 3+ games for a Philadelphia team that went through a stretch that I didn't think would be possible this year, where they couldn't score any runs.
No. Thought they'd have pitching problems, but not hitting problems.
Check on the runner at first. That's Carroll, who led off with a walk. The batter is DeWitt, who took a ball. A 1-0 pitch is flied into right center field. Darnell McDonald, glasses on, hauls in out number 1. 1 on, 1 out. How about next week? The rivalry is renewed with 2 teams that once shared a city, then shared the spotlight during October. And now in interleague play, Joe Torre, longtime Yankee manager, his Dodgers will welcome the Yankees to Dodger Stadium next Saturday night. It's a primetime game at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, right here on Fox. Check your local listings for the game and start time in your area. 1 on, 1 out. And the first pitch to Matt Kemp is down and in, ball 1.
Much to be said about the Dodger-Red Sox rivalry, but also a lot to be said about the Yankees and Dodgers rivalry. They played each other 11 times in the World Series.
There goes the runner, Carroll. Throw down is too late, and a stolen base for Jamie Carroll, his 4th of the season.
So in there easily. And as we said at the beginning of the telecast, the Dodgers will try to run on the knuckleball. You get a knuckleball on which to run, go.
Here's a fly ball off the end of the bat into center. Darnell McDonald back to get it. Carroll tags and will go from second to third, and that's big with a knuckleball pitcher on the mound. 2 out in the inning.
That's a very good point, Joe. Tim Wakefield with 7 wild pitches on the year, and we did talk about the 2 pass balls by Victor Martinez. But the Yankees, of those 11 World Series against the Dodgers, they won 8 of those. Famous win in 1955 when Johnny Padres won Game 7, 2-0 at Yankee Stadium. What a history between those two teams, the Yankees and the Dodgers.
Here's a pitch in the dirt, scooped up by Victor Martinez, ball one. So as you look at the rivalry that's renewed next week on Saturday night at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Last time they got together was an interleague series in 2004. That'll be a fun game next Saturday night at Dodger Stadium. There's a strike, 1-1. Wakefield, runner at third, 2 out. That's over but low, 2-1. Russell Martin at the plate has 16 RBIs on the season. He is 0 for 2. And a fly ball into left field will hang up for Daniel Nava. And the inning is over. Through 5 is Tim Wakefield. He's been very good today. Halfway through it, 3-1 Boston. Their award-winning cars, trucks, and crossovers. Up above, our aerial coverage provided by DirecTV. Get every MLB game and the most in HD. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Here's a fastball for a strike. 93 miles per hour from the right-hander Vicente Padilla. Darnell McDonald first up, number 9 man. Stepped in hitting .284, finally getting a chance to play at the big league level, do it for the Boston Red Sox. A lifer in the minor leagues. He's been one of the many nice stories for this Boston team here in 2010. A very valuable part with all the injuries that have just racked this outfield. Amida, Ellsbury, both on the disabled list with rib injuries. Here's a breaking ball that's flipped into center. Back to get it is Kemp. 1 out. Ken Rosenthal, that's a good story, and as I said, one of many for this Boston Red Sox team, Darnell McDonald, and what his path has been to this moment.
Absolutely, Joe. First-round pick of the Baltimore Orioles in 1997, and as you mentioned, a career minor leaguer. And in fact, the Red Sox were prepared to bump him off their roster when Mike Cameron came off the DL in late May. Terry Francona had to talk with McDonald. We're designating you for assignment, but that night, Jacoby Ellsbury got hurt, The Red Sox had never filed the paperwork, and Darnell McDonald got to stay.
With 1 out, nobody on, back to the top of the order in Scudero. He takes low, ball 1. McDonald 0 for 2 today. Scudero is 0 for 2 as well.
So there's an advantage in not being handy with paperwork and not doing it immediately. Procrastination's a good thing.
That's the way I got through high school.
Me too.
Why do now what you can put off till tomorrow? Or a little bit later, and in this case it kept Darnell McDonald on the Red Sox team instead of having him designated. 1 out, nobody on. 2-0 to count on Scudero. And off the end of the bat, 2-1.
Hey, we saw that throw earlier by Scudero, and some of his swings today have looked like he's in a lot of pain. You talked about the shot he had on Tuesday to relieve some of the pain in his left shoulder. He's not swinging right.
Here's a 2-1 pitch from Padilla, 2-2.
Have shoulder problems. The pitch you really have a tough time with is a pitch for which you have to reach, and that's a pitch outside to a right-hander. And this at bat, he has not looked good on that outside fastball.
With 1 out and the base is empty, a 2-2 pitch is high. Ken Rosenthal, you talked to Scudero, and he's, I think, in more pain than he's letting on.
Joe, actually, it's not pain. It's a deadness in the chest muscle and the bicep. And that is preventing him from swinging the way he should. It's happening on the left side. He told me he has had to cheat the fastballs. Lately, it's been better since that cortisone shot, but as you mentioned, today, not so good.
Just slapping it.
Yeah, it's not his normal swing. Feisty guy, plays hurt. Had a comment this week in the Boston Globe saying that, you know, if you play 162 games a year or 150 games a year, most of the time you're going to be hurt. If you're a middle infielder, a catcher, or an outfielder. Fastball away.
Stayed away this entire at bat, and Scudero hits it hard, but right at the shortstop, Jamie Carroll. 2 out. The Pan Massachusetts Challenge is a 190-mile 2-day bike-a-thon that goes across Massachusetts to raise millions of dollars for cancer research and treatment at Dana-Farber Cancer Institute through its Jimmy Fund. 31 cancer survivors rode their bikes around the field at Fenway Park today during pregame to celebrate their health and the great work the PMC and the Boston Red Sox do. At home, you can donate money to the PMC, the Pan Massachusetts Challenge, cancer research by supporting Team 9. You can text PMC TN0022 to 20222 to donate $10 to cancer research. 100% of that donation will go toward cancer research. For more information, you can visit pmc.org. First pitch, a strike, and now the next to Pedroia. It's high. Ball and a strike. Padilla trying to get through the 5th. Red Sox also had to make a roster move today as they sent out last night's starter, very impressive, the 22-year-old left-hander Felix Doubront. They called up a right-hander, Robert Manuel, who was in their bullpen. They're still short down there. They're getting 5 good ones so far from Tim Wakefield. He will go back to work as we go to the 6th. Pedroia flies to right. Still, Boston 3, LA 1. Sponsored by Pepsi Refresh Project. Thousands of ideas, millions in grants. By Verizon, the network with the most 3G coverage. And by Chevrolet and our award-winning cars, trucks, and crossovers. There's Fenway down at the bottom of your picture, and inside it's 3-1 Red Sox. Tim Wakefield's been terrific. Told you that our coverage up above is provided by DirecTV. At every MLB game and the most in HD, call 1-800-DIRECTV. Glad they're with us. And here's a line drive caught by Pedroia. A sinking liner. He went up, the ball was going down, and he still made the catch.
Well, you know, we talk a lot about the shadow between the pitcher's mound and home plate. Well, a lot of times it affects fielders, and I think Pedroia was affected by that line drive. He jumped up, thought he had to jump, but didn't have to jump. I don't think he saw that ball well.
Hit hard by Ethier, but he's 0 for 3. And Manny Ramirez, who has scored the only run of the day for the Dodgers. 1 for 2. Hits one in the air to left. Did he get enough? Back at the wall. It's gone. Home run, Manny Ramirez. In his second game back. It's 3-2. Rather benign reaction for the home run from Ramirez, which makes it a one-run game, and that's career home run number 553.
And we'll never know the answer to this, but you have to ask yourself the question, was that the most satisfying home run he ever hit? Maybe.
Well, you're talking about a guy who's a two-time world champion and a World Series MVP, which he was for the Red Sox in 2004 in their sweep over St. Louis, and this ball was hit, got under it, didn't crush it, but in this park he had the height and it got up over the monster and left. And a rather interested observer was watching every bit of its trip into the seats on top of the green monster. And now with one out, nobody on, Loney grounds to first. It's a fair ball, and it's out number 2.
I thought Joe Torre had the right explanation, saying that Manny started earlier in the week, knowing he was coming to Boston. He had 2 home runs in that Cincinnati series, a series in which the Dodgers won 2 out of 3. So Torre knew he was ready physically to come in here, but of course mentally, you never know about Manny.
Here's Blake hitting it down into the corner, and Nava to his right reaches up to make the catch. But their old friend, Manny Ramirez, hits a home run in the top of the 6th inning. Makes it 3-2 Boston into the bottom of the 6th at Fenway. Big bats for the Red Sox here in the bottom of the 6th inning. It's now a 1-run game after the home run by Manny Ramirez. Ball 1 to David Ortiz, who's 0 for 2.
You know, Joe, the Dodgers employ a bit of a different shift in that they move the third baseman, Casey Blake, into that slot right to the right of second base. So he went literally from the shadows to the sunlight. And that sunlight in right field and anything to the right field side is very, very difficult right now at Fenway Park.
Padilla trying to get through the 6th. This is high and tight, 2-0. Jeff Weaver starts to get loose for the Dodgers in their bullpen. Good game, 3-2 Boston, bottom of the 6th. David Ortiz went deep last night. A guy who is without a contract beyond this year. He waits for that pitch. He flied out on that pitch in his first at bat, and it's a strike. And Ortiz trying not to smile after this lollipop dropped in for strike 1.
Reminded me of that song, Lollipop, Lollipop, oh lolly, lollipop. That was the late 50s.
Here's a 2-1 pitch, grounded foul outside first.
Don't ask me the group that sang it, but
2 balls, 2 strikes. 0 for 17 are the first 3 hitters combined in each lineup here today. With 4 strikeouts, Ortiz has 1 of them. So the top of the order on each side's been shut down by the starter, and now a rocket foul. Talked about the numbers and how they compare, and now that both Ramirez and Ortiz played about the same number of games in a Red Sox uniform. Ramirez more in his 7+ seasons, but the average, Ramirez has the edge. Home runs, they're even. Ortiz tied him last night with a first inning home run. RBIs, David Ortiz more in their time with the Red Sox. The 2-2 pitch is down and in, full count.
you can see by the way he's taking pitches now that he's locked in. And the good hitting instructors look at the way guys take pitches and know that they are hitting well when they take.
Here's a 3-2 pitch, and he had him reaching. Popped him up. Shallow center. In comes Kemp. Plenty of room and time, and he has out number 1. Our Verizon game summary, if you just joined us. Nava with an RBI single in the second. Mr. Saturday Afternoon is Daniel Nava. Martinez with a 2-run shot in the fourth. Victor Martinez and Manny Ramirez. Solo home run for the Dodgers against the Red Sox in his return to Fenway Park.
You could see that swing by Ortiz. Padilla was pitching him in, and finally left one out over the plate. But Ortiz, with that body language, thinking it was in, kind of bailed a little bit and got under it.
1 out, nobody on. Padilla brings it. Euclid takes a strike. Padilla's thrown well. And here's that pop-up by Ortiz.
See the little bail, the hips coming out of there and getting up under that swing.
That's down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Sometimes it's not necessarily the pitch, but it's what you've done to a hitter before he makes contact. What's in his mind? And Padilla coming in to Ortiz made him so conscious of that pitch inside that he couldn't handle the pitch that he normally handles.
1-1. High fly ball into left center field. Back at the wall. Euclid goes deep. Over it all onto Lansdowne. And it's a 2-run game again. 4-2 Boston.
Ouch.
Just pasted into left center field by Euclid, and that's the end of the day. It appears for Vicente Padilla. Euclid hits his 14th, his second hit of the day. And Vicente Padilla can pitch into the 6th, but not through it. He's gone. Weaver is in. Red Sox lead by 2. 4-2 here at Fenway. Right off the DL, gets into the 6th inning. He gives up the home run to Euclid. Second home run he's allowed today, the other to Victor Martinez, and now Jeff Weaver into the game. And so the question now for the Dodgers, who started the day a game out of first place in the NL West, is what to do with their starting rotation. They've got 2 rookies who are struggling. One they put on the disabled list in Monasterios, last night's starter, as they got Padilla back today. John Eli is a 24-year-old who has an ERA over 9 over his last 3 starts. Joe Torre has already said Jeff Weaver is not an option. He's a bullpen guy now as he misses outside. The count's 2-0. So we'll involve Ken Rosenthal and try and speculate as to where the Dodgers go. Obviously, the division is seemingly there for the taking, but I would say at this point this team is not constructed, even if they win the division, to go much farther than the first round of the playoffs with this rotation. There's a strike, 2-1. What are the options for the Dodgers, Ken Rosenthal, as we go forward and approach the trading deadline?
Well, the biggest option is Cliff Lee. And then there is Roy Oswalt and Dan Herron as well. But the question with the Dodgers, besides whether they could match up with the Mariners for someone like Lee, would be their payroll. It has gone from $118 million 2 years ago to $100 million last year, down to $95 million this year. That's below the Minnesota Twins, even though the Dodgers led the major leagues in home attendance last year, and they're right near the top this year. So the question is, does owner Frank McCourt have the payroll flexibility to enable them to make the move that they need?
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on, and Weaver misses outside. And the elephant in the room when you start talking about ownership is the divorce, the pending divorce between Frank and Jamie McCourt, and how financially that straps the organization. And being able to go out and acquire more talent and more help as they make their way through the season. Certainly seemed to have a big effect on them during the offseason when they did virtually nothing. Here's a ground ball to short off the end of the bat by Martinez, and Carroll takes care of out number 2. With the bases empty, the batter will be Adrian Beltre to deal with Jeff Weaver, who in his career pitching at Fenway Park in 9 games has an ERA of 7.4. Some of that with Joe Torre and the Yankees.
Well, along the comical lines, 5 years ago, the Dodgers did have enough money to hire a physicist who was hired to send positive energy waves to the Dodgers. His name was Vladimir Shpunt, S-H-P-U-N-T. He was a Russian physicist. I mean, to my knowledge, no major league team has ever hired anybody along those lines.
And Vladimir is considered one of the top 3 Russian physicist healers who specializes in beaming positive energy from his home in Massachusetts to a team in Major League Baseball.
Now, the funny thing, he's only been to Dodger Stadium 1 time. The other games he watches on television.
But did anybody know he was there?
Well, I mean, he could be sending positive energy waves right now as we speak on our telecast.
Which brings up a good point. If you're willing to hire him once for the positive energy vibes,
right?
Shouldn't that be like a lifetime deal? Do you ever want to say, hey, look, this isn't working out, Vladimir. We can't afford to bring you back. And now you're dealing with a Russian physicist healer who's thinking negative energy vibes.
That's right. He could. You'd see the flip side of it, the negative energy vibes. That's right. Haven't thought of it like that.
I don't think you want to
play
with
to.
something.
No, you have to keep him on the payroll forever.
No truth to the rumor that he could make Tommy Lasorda levitate from his home in New England. Here's a 1-2 pitch and a ground ball base hit into left field. The 6th inning continues. Adrian Beltre is on for the first time in 3 at-bats today. Vladimir Shpunt was part of the Dodger payroll from 2004 through 2008.
There's the venerable Vince Scully sitting next to Tommy Lasorda. Vin during last night's game and started his career here at Fenway Park. I didn't realize that. Did a football game back on November 12th, 1949. Returning to his roots. Broadcasting roots, that is.
Correct. Batter is Bill Hall. That's on the inside corner. First strike. Are we finished talking about Vladimir Shpunt?
I hope so.
They said
that really is an extraordinary story. I mean, how can he sell himself saying I can help your club by sending positive energy waves to your team through the TV? I mean, come on. Who bought that story?
Well, it was what threw the interview over the top was when he could make a pencil look like it was bending when he moved it. Just moving it up and down.
Maybe he could fix our telestrator.
Nothing could fix our telestrator. 1 on, 2 out, and a check on the runner at first. That's Adrian Beltre. A home run by Euclid in the inning that forced the pitching change. Victor Martinez grounded out against Weaver, and then a base hit by Beltre. He's going, swing and a miss, and the inning is over.
Thank goodness.
Oh, man. Never wanted to see the end of an inning quicker. Vladimir, this word from Boston, from your local Fox station, is for you. 4-2 after the homer by Euclid. Red Sox lead it after 6. We missed the first pitch of the 7th inning, and it was a strike from Tim Wakefield. Garrett Anderson at the plate. He's 1 for 2. Jamie Carroll will follow then Blake DeWitt. Bottom 3 in the lineup. Tim Wakefield has been really effective and impressive so far. A guy who was an all-star last year, but a bad back cut his season short. He's 43 years old, second oldest player in the majors. Manny Del Carmen getting loose. Jamie Moyer is the oldest at 47. Still pitching for the Phillies, but Wakefield's in search of his first win here at home. Turned in a very good start to this point as he pitches into the 7th. But any hiccup, and you get the feeling that Wakefield will be gone and Del Carmen will come in. That is down the right field line. That's a hiccup. Into the corner, a bouncing out of play. It's a ground rule double in a 2-run game, and let's see if that's it. Terry Francona, will he stay in the dugout, or will he go get Tim Wakefield and bring in Del Carmen?
Joe, you're right. That was a hiccup, and the Red Sox were fortunate that that ball bounced around and bounced out of the ballpark. Had it bounced around and hugged the wall down there, we talked about Bill Hall's inexperience in right field. And that ball could have been a triple or an inside the Parker.
Here's a pitch inside. So Wakefield gets at least one more batter. And Jamie Carroll, who's 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout, a stolen base for the day as well, waits for the next, and now a weak swing and a ground ball to Beltre, who makes the play 1 out. Here is the in-game box score for the Dodgers. It's brought to you by Toyota. Manny Ramirez has been really involved. So has Garrett Anderson. He just doubled to start this 7th inning. Manny Ramirez has a solo home run, a single. He has stolen a base and scored 2 runs on the day. It's 4-2 Red Sox, top of the 7th. And a strike is into DeWitt. Blake has flied to center twice. Now a grounder to first is a foul ball. Euclid is one of the more underrated first basemen in baseball.
He's terrific down there.
Made an error at first during the week. His first error overall since last October, and his first at first base since early April last season. First, third base, whatever, it doesn't seem to bother him. He's homered in this game. He homered moments ago in the bottom of the 6th to make it 4-2. Runner at second, 1 out, and Wakefield spins, doesn't throw as he looks at Garrett Anderson. Here's the 0-2. Scooped up by Victor Martinez, ball 1. We remind you about the primetime baseball next week. These Dodgers will be at home taking on the Yankees, who won today 5-3 over the Mets, snapping an 8-game winning streak for the New York Mets. Hideki Okajima now gets loose as DeWitt hits one into the right field corner. That ball is fair and extra bases. It gets by Hall in right field. In to score is Anderson. Over to third is DeWitt. And there's the tying run with 1 out here in the 7th. Talk about the difficulty of playing right field, and that difficulty led to an extra base for Blake DeWitt, who has made this a 1-run game with a base hit into right.
That's going to be it for Wakefield, but this is, you get an idea about what we were talking about how difficult it is to play in right field. The ball can hug the wall once it bounces. And Bill Hall is not used to it. Only his 14th game in right field and only his 3rd game this year. And Blake DeWitt has a triple, not a double.
It's actually a double and an error.
Oh, it is. Okay.
On Bill Hall down on the right field wall. Big hand for Wakefield, but it's a 1-run game at Fenway. numbers for Tim Wakefield. He was very good. He had allowed 3 hits coming into this 7th inning, but 2 hits, an error behind him. Tying run is at third. The infield is in. Matt Kemp, who's been struggling, digs his way in against Manny Del Carmen. And a Beat LA chant starts here at Fenway. And the first pitch is 93 miles per hour. You talk about one end of the spectrum to the other, from Wakefield to Del Carmen, who's a hard-throwing right-hander. Ball 1.
The last Beat LA chant didn't work here in Boston. That was, of course, the Celtics and Lakers. The Lakers winning yet another world title on Thursday night.
Infield is in. Tying run at third, 1 out. Big hit by Blake DeWitt in this inning and a 1-0 pitch. Fly ball into shallow right. Hall comes on. Makes the catch. Here comes the runner DeWitt, and this game is tied. Sacrifice fly to right. And it's 4-4 here in the 7th inning, and the error factors directly to the tying run. The error by Bill Hall in right, and the ball hit by DeWitt.
And a worthwhile chance right here. Bill Hall has a strong arm, but not an accurate arm, and he shows it right here up the line. And an excellent base running play by Blake DeWitt. And Larry Boa at third base, who's one of the best in the business, the third base coach.
So depending on what happens here with Russell Martin, that could be an unearned run. As it stands, though, Tim Wakefield will not get his first win of the season here at home. He'll stay 0-4. Pitched 6 1/3, allowed 4 runs on 5 hits, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, and a home run. And here's a ball down and away, 2-0 on Russell Martin, who is 0 for 3. Tim Wakefield started the day with 177 wins with the Boston Red Sox. That's number 3 on their all-time list. 15 wins shy of Cy Young and Roger Clemens, each with 192. They occupy the top spot for wins in a Boston Red Sox uniform. Roger Clemens was here at the park last night. Ethier on deck. Martin at the plate with a count of 3-0. The Red Sox in the bottom of the 7th will have Nava, McDonald, and Scudero. That's ball 4. A 4-pitch walk puts the go-ahead run on here with 2 out. And Ethier is coming to the plate. Okajima is ready if needed in the bullpen, and Terry Francona is going to Okajima. So Del Carmen faced 2 hitters, gave up a sac fly and a walk. He's gone. Okajima in. Ethier coming up. We're tied. Her boyfriend Matt Kemp has tied this game here in the 7th with a sac fly to right. Then a walk to Russell Martin and Chase Del Carmen, and here's Okajima, who throws over to first, and Martin, who had a small lead, gets back. The batter is Ethier with Manny Ramirez, who seems locked in today, waiting on deck. The numbers for Okajima: his ERA is up, his effectiveness has been down, and he hits the inside corner with a strike to Ethier, who's 0 for 3. We are in the 7th of what's now a 4-4 game. Ethier is fly to center, struck out, line to second. The 0-1. Off the end of the bat to his right. Pedroia flips, and the force out ends the inning. But in the inning, 2 runs for the Dodgers. Time to stretch at Fenway. We're tied at 4. Just for men, for mustache and beard, keep your edge. By Mobil 1, the world's leading synthetic motor oil brand. And by Lowe's, for all your home improvement needs. Lowe's, let's build something together. Aerial coverage provided by DirecTV. Get every MLB game and the most in HD. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Jeff Weaver is back to work. Took over last inning, and now here in the 7th will work to Nava, McDonald, and Scudero. Daniel Nava has an RBI single. He has struck out. And he takes ball 1 down and in. Guy's hitting .391. A 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. 27-year-old switch hitter is Nava. What a week it's been.
What a week.
Grand slam on the first pitch he saw from a major league pitcher. Hitting .391. And he's reached base in each of his first 7 games. So that last note, signed as a free agent January of 08 as he grounds 1 to second. Blake DeWitt picks it up, 1 out. Nava was signed for $1. and was promised 1,499 more of them if he made it through spring training, which he did. Shot through the minor league system for the Red Sox, and because of all the injuries, here he is as an everyday player. Darnell McDonald's had a lot of action this season. He's 0 for 2 today, and Jeff Weaver has faced 4 batters, allowed 1 hit, took something off, strike 1.
Yeah, Dan, Nava has 2 siblings. He has a sister and a brother, and they surprised him in the team parking lot yesterday by showing up. So actually his whole family's here today. Mother and father, brother and sister.
Here comes the 0-1 from Weaver, and off the hands, fouled back. Strike 2.
I can't think of a better story thus far in the season.
I'm with you. Was at Santa Clara, had to leave Santa Clara, went to San Mateo Junior College, hit 400, went back to Santa Clara on a scholarship, not drafted. That's outside. Went to the Independent League, signed with the Chico Outlaws, cut, made the team the next year, was a league MVP. Baseball America top prospect in the independent leagues, and signed for $1 by the Red Sox. Here's a 1-2 pitch. And Weaver dropped down, a swinging strike for out number 2. Sidearm delivery. Darnell McDonald couldn't hold up. 2 out here in the 7th.
There, Weaver doubly tough on right-handed batters. This ball about a foot outside, but Darnell appeared to go too far.
Well, the base is empty. Here's Scudero. Jeff Weaver has certainly bounced around in his big league career, but he was in the postseason as big a reason why the Cardinals won the World Series in 2006 as anybody. There's a strike. His brother Jared in the stands watching in St. Louis when that series came to a close. He and Jared actually faced each other last weekend when the Angels and Dodgers got together. Here's a check swing on a pitch inside. Didn't go. 1 ball, 1 strike on Scudero. In the 8th inning for the Dodgers, it'll be Manny Ramirez, James Loney, and Casey Blake. The 1-1. Strike 2. Toyota in-game box score for the Red Sox. Looks like this. Scudero is hitless. Same for Pedroia and Ortiz. Euclid is homered in this game. Same for Victor Martinez. And 1 hit apiece for Beltre, Hall, and Nava. Here comes a 1-2 pitch from Jeff Weaver. And down and away. 2-2. First 2 months of the season, the AL East was dominated by the Tampa Bay Rays. They were 30-11 after they swept a 2-game set in mid-May against the Yankees. Since then, they are 11-15. The AL East is tight. The NL West is tight. That's a full count on Scudero. 2 out, nobody on.
Remember Joe Madden, the manager of the Rays, after they swept the Red Sox 4 back in April, saying that we caught this team at the right time. They're a lot better than this, and the Red Sox have proven that.
3-2 pitch is lined into right field. Scudero has his first hit of the day. And he's on with 2 out for Dustin Pedroia. MLB on Fox. Tune in to win. Bonus question is, of the following players, who will be the first to strike out in the 8th? Manny Ramirez, James Loney, Casey Blake. To answer, visit foxsports.com/tune-in and make your prediction before the final out of the 7th. If you're not in the game, you can sign up today for next week's MLB on Fox game FoxSports.com/tunein. The left-hander Quo is coming in. Dustin Pedroia is coming up. A tie game in the bottom of the 7th at Fenway Park. Microscopic 1.37 ERA in just under 20 innings pitched. You can see he's a specialist. 20 games, 19 2/3 innings pitched. But he's been very good. Had a consecutive scoreless inning streak snapped at 18 2/3 during the week. But here he is, 2 out, dealing with Pedroia. That hard fastball is high for ball 1.
It's a good move by Joe Torre for 2 reasons. Pedroia is batting 197 against left-handers this year. And if Pedroia does happen to get a hit, then he allows Quo to pitch to David Ortiz. So a little breathing room for Quo. Good move.
A 1-0 pitch. And that foul tip caught a piece of Martin and then the home plate umpire, Tony Randazzo.
Like it got Russell Martin on the left shoulder, then the mask, and then Tony Randazzo on the left shoulder. Rattling around like a pinball back there.
After a violent swing by Dustin Pedroia. But that's his rip. He's 0 for 3, Pedroia. 8-game hitting streak is in jeopardy as he looks at one high. It's 2-1. Might come to the plate again. We're tied in the bottom of the 7th. The 2-1 pitch is hit into left, a base hit. Anderson backs up, gets it back in. It's 2 on with 2 out for David Ortiz. David Ortiz, for the longest time, was one of the most clutch hitters in baseball.
In baseball history, you could say. Short term and long term.
This season, it's been a different story, however. From the 7th inning on, he's hitting only 175. Compared to 307 through the first 6 innings. Only one of his 15 home runs have come from the 7th inning on. late on that 97-mile-per-hour fastball, strike one.
Yeah, you combine all the elements, a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. David Ortiz is going to, if he makes contact, he'll hit the ball to left field. Wouldn't be a bad, you could see the center fielder, Matt Kemp, playing just on the other side of second base, little toward left center field.
One ball, one strike. This opportunity started on a two-out hit by Scudero against Weaver. Then Quo came in, and Pedroia got a base hit to left. Now it's David Ortiz. Red Sox won last night 10-6. Tie game here this afternoon. And now into the evening. 1-1 pitch fouled back, and another late swing. 98 from Quo. Strike two. You stick with the heat if you're Hong-Chi Quo?
I think so. You do not go to any secondary pitch.
And a swing and a miss, 89 miles per hour. And a little wrinkle on the end of it.
Yep, went to the slider.
On 1 and 2, Ramirez will lead it off. Dodgers bat in the 8th. Good game at Fenway, tied at 4. A 4-4 game. Hideki Okajima back to the hill. And a strike floats in at 75 miles per hour. Ramirez has singled, stolen a base, scored a run, homered. 2 out of 3. 8 home runs on the season. He's hit 3 total during the week. He is heating up for a Dodgers team that started the day a game out behind San Diego in the NL West. James Loney and Casey Blake, the next 2 hitters. And a jam shot, little pop-up out behind second base, and Pedroia and Scudero come together. Pedroia made the catch, 1 out.
I think Scudero stepped on Pedroia on his left foot, I believe. Or perhaps left knee. Pedroia's right knee was the one that was bothering him. Yeah, it looked like his left knee does not appear to be serious. Big thing for the Red Sox, they got the out.
So those two couldn't hear one another, and Pedroia ends up making the catch. For the first out, Ramirez retired for the second time in this game, and James Loney is at the plate. And a strike is in from Okajima, who's done a nice job. Overall, the season numbers aren't as good for Okajima, who when he first came to the Red Sox was unhittable. A little better during the course of this week, and here today he's retired Ethier, now Manny Ramirez, and he misses with ball one to James Loney.
We've talked about it before. You may ask yourself, how can he get by with a 75-mile-an-hour pitch or an 82-mile-an-hour breaking ball? Well, it's that deception and releasing the ball, that head jerk toward third base. Very difficult to pick up.
The 1-1. Loney took just outside. Loney's 0 for 3, and that has his average at 302. On the year, he's hit 5 home runs. Bullpen is quiet for each side as we play in the 8th. That's down the left field line. Might be trouble, and what a nice running catch by Nava. Sweeps in for out number 2.
Very nice play by Dan Nava. You have to respect Loney's power the other way. You and I have done a lot of games in this ballpark, and we've seen a lot of balls drop in that area. Okajima is appreciative.
Had to cover a lot of ground for out number 2, and here's Casey Blake. Red Sox in the bottom of this 8th. We'll have Euclid, Victor Martinez, and Adrian Beltre. That's foul. Makes Larry Boa jump out of the way.
I think that might move Beltre on the line. It should. This is a hard ballpark, however, to guard the line against a double if you're Adrian Beltre. A little tougher than a lot of times balls between the third baseman and the line aren't doubles anyway, because it hits that offshoot in left field. It bounces back toward the infield in shallow left field. I guess it's an offshoot. I didn't know what else to call it.
A jut out.
A jut out.
0-2 the count on Casey Blake, who's 0 for 2 with a walk. Okajima misses. 87-mile-per-hour fastball from Okajima. But he is more into the deception. A guy who keeps hitters off balance. Casey Blake has hit 7 home runs this season. A 1-2. Changed up, struck him out. An inning and a third. Perfect pitching from Hideki Okajima. Kevin Euclid will lead it off for the Red Sox in the bottom of the 8th. That's what he did his last time up. Dodgers and Red Sox tied 4-4. By Toyota, by Sears Blue Lawn and Garden Crew, and by DirecTV. Watch and record in multiple rooms with just one DVR. First up, Kevin Youkilis, and he takes a strike in the inside corner. Youkilis has homered, singled, scored 2 runs. Victor Martinez, the red-hot Victor Martinez, will follow. Here's the 0-1. Way outside, a ball and a strike. You can see how hard Quo can bring it. He's been mid to upper 90s since he came in last year.
Those 4 pitches he threw to David Ortiz, there is not a left-handed hitter in the game that would have gotten a hit during that at-bat.
'96, strike 2.
Boy, he is blowing.
A 1-2 pitch, and he struck him out. He struck out Ortiz to end the 7th. And now Youkilis is a strikeout victim to start the 8th.
Woof. Get away from my plate.
And now Victor Martinez, who has hit .470 this season against left-handed pitching. Overall, he's at .296. He's walked and scored, homered, 1 for 2. Hit a long home run to right off Vicente Padilla in the 4th. That made it 3-1. Then it was 3-2. Then it was 4-2. Then the Dodgers tied it with 2 in the 7th. Ball 1. The 1-0 pitch is in for strike 1. Two balls and a strike. There's action for the Red Sox in their bullpen. The Dodger bullpen is quiet. And it's Jonathan Papelbon getting loose. The Red Sox hope to not have to use Daniel Bard in this game. He has been busy here at the start of the season. Worked last night. Into the game by striking out Ramirez. That's foul. And Victor Martinez is locked in from this side of the plate. 2-2.
And once again, an example of why you don't have to guard the line with right-handed batters up. That ball hitting that area of the stands jutting out. So you can afford to play a right-hander straight up because of that.
That's popped up right side. And caught by Loney. Out number 2.
How about that play?
Not only did he have to reach, but he had to battle a fan to catch it.
What a play. James Loney. Which glove has it? The first baseman's mitt. That's a terrific play by Loney.
So with 2 out, nobody on, here is Adrian Beltre, who hit a tape measure home run here last night. And that skips in for ball 1. As you watch Quo light up the radar gun, realize that he's had 4 elbow operations, including 2 Tommy John surgeries and a shoulder procedure. The rotator cuff. So through all that, he's come back and he's throwing as hard as any left-hander coming out of any bullpen across the big leagues as the count goes to 1-1. Dodgers in the ninth will have Garrett Anderson, Jamie Carroll, and Blake DeWitt Dodgers have a very short bench as Joe Torre is carrying 13 pitchers. Here's a 1-1. 97, strike 2.
Think about that. He's 28 years old and already has had 2 Tommy John surgeries. From Taiwan. Just no contest.
Rick Honeycutt is pitching coach. A 1-2. That's on the outside corner and 3 strikeouts in an inning and a third for Hong-Chi Kuo. We go to the 9th. Bottom part of the order coming up for the Dodgers, tied at 4. By Chevrolet. Aerial coverage provided by DirecTV. Get every MLB game and the most in HD. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Jonathan Papelbon takes over here in the 9th inning. Bottom 3 in the lineup coming up for the Dodgers. 4-4 game. A good one at Fenway. Garrett Anderson, Jamie Carroll, and Blake DeWitt. That group's done some damage, including Garrett Anderson, who is 2 for 3. An RBI single, a double. He scored a run. Getting the start today. Came in hitting just 172 as Papelbon gets ready to try and light up the radar gun himself, and that misses. 95 miles per hour, ball 1. Okajima did a nice job while he was in there, an inning and a third. Perfect. 1 strikeout. Now it's Papelbon as 1-0. Into center field, might drop. That ball's a base hit. And Anderson is on base with his 3rd hit of the day. Longtime American leaguer, obviously happy to be back at Fenway Park. He came here with the LA Angels, and he's on to start this 9th.
And we talked about it earlier, Joe. He earned his start today, and he will be pinch run for by Reed Johnson. But a terrific day at the plate for Garrett Anderson. 3 hits after that home run off the left-hander last night. And this is a bunting situation with Jamie Carroll up there, who may be he is among the top 3 or 4 bunters in the National League. Excellent at that job.
And Jamie Carroll's been a lot busier for the Dodgers than he ever imagined. Getting the start at short. Rafael Furcal on the bereavement list. And his bunt, Carroll's bunt, is to first. Youkilis makes the play, sacrifices good 3-4 with Youkilis feeding Pedroia at the bag. Down to second is Reed Johnson, 1 out.
This may be overly simplistic, but you can bunt the ball harder to first base because the first baseman's farther away from you. He's got to hold the runner on, and that's why Youkilis looked to second but went to first.
And made the right decision.
That's right.
So Reed Johnson with his new Fu Manchu mustache at second in scoring position for Blake DeWitt, who has one of the bigger hits of the day. An RBI double in that 2-run 7th and scored the tying run. 4-4 is the score here in the 9th. Ball 1 outside. Here's a 1-0 pitch, and it's on the inside corner, a ball and a strike. Papelbon is facing the Dodgers for the first time in his career. Dealing with Blake DeWitt, the 1-1. Reed Johnson way off the bag at second.
Got to step off. If your shortstop is at second base, you got the whole left side of the infield open. So normally you step off, but Papelbon did the same thing for the most part. He just held the ball.
Big opportunity here for Blake DeWitt. Hitting .271 on the season. Go ahead run at second with 1 out, and that's fouled on the left field line. Strike 2. We are at the top of the hour, 7 o'clock in the East. Manny Ramirez with a home run in the 6th inning. Made it a 1-run game. Red Sox got a run and a home run by Youkilis. Kemp tied the game. Second run of the 7th inning made it 4-4, and the Red Sox have committed 4 errors in this game. That's us. Glad you're with us. 4-4. Here is a 1-2 pitch from Papelbon. Jammed him. Right side. Papelbon gets to the bag. 2 out. Go ahead run at third. 2 away, and Matt Kemp, who is hitless 0 for 3, does have a sac fly for his 37th RBI, is in the spotlight now.
You know, Joe, there was a hesitation on Papelbon's part getting to first base. And that's why catchers always will yell, "Get over there." It's so ingrained in you. He said, "Get over there." There's the "get over there." It's so ingrained in you that when you start announcing, a lot of times that's what you think on ground balls to the right side. As a former catcher, you say, in your mind, "Get over there." It's a very strange phenomenon.
But Blake DeWitt was a little late getting out of the box. He was jammed so much that Papelbon had more time.
And Papelbon assumed that Youkilis, who's so good at first base, would make the play. But that hesitation, then he finally got over there to make the play.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Kemp. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Good breaking ball from Papelbon.
Kemp is grounded out, reached on an error, fly to center, and then fly to shallow right for a sac fly in the 7th to tie it. They put the Dodgers on top. They haven't led since the 2nd inning. Here's a 1-1 pitch.
Fastball away.
And he drills the outside corner, strike 2.
You can see Martinez with that pinky. The pinky means fastball away, and Papelbon right on the corner.
In the air to right center, should be handled. That's McDonald to his left, and we go to the bottom of the 9th, bottom of the order, coming up for the Red Sox. Tied at 4. To cast your Scott's MLB All-Star ballot and enter for a chance to win a VIP All-Star Week experience. Compliments of Scott's. All-Star game coming up in Anaheim on July 13th. Here on Fox, Reed Johnson, who pinch ran, stays in the game. He's in left. The new pitcher is Ronald Belisario. Each side has used 4 pitchers, and the hard-throwing right-hander delivers strike 1. Broxton is the closer for the Dodgers. Good moving fastball that is called ball 1.
It's interesting that Broxton's up already, because Joe Torre may be thinking if you have 2 outs, maybe bring in Broxton and perhaps hope the Dodgers score in the top of the 10th inning and let Broxton pitch a 4-out ball game.
Good heat through the bat of Bill Hall, strike 2.
Good sinking fastball from Belisario.
Padilla went 5 1/3. Weaver an inning and a third. Quo an inning and a third. Now Belisario, his 1-2. Up the middle to his left. Carroll won't get there, and the leadoff man is on. Bill Hall, his second hit of the day.
Jamie Carroll playing straight away, and even had he been shaded toward the middle, this ball had so much topspin on it. Now what do? Dan Nava up there, probably to bunt, but you're not sure. He's been so hot with the bat.
He has an RBI single. He struck out, grounded out. Casey Blake about half step in front of the bag. Shows bunt, drops it down. It's a fair ball. Throw to second, out. Throw to first. No double play. Nearly a double play. And running is Nava with one out in the inning. And that was almost brilliantly turned by Martin. And the shortstop, Jamie Carroll.
Sensational reaction. That ball very close to being a foul ball, but Martin didn't give home plate umpire Tony Rendazzo a chance to call it. He hopped on it immediately. Made a strong throw to second base. That was a terrific play by Martin.
The way you say that, though, you think the same thing I did. I thought the ball was foul.
I thought it could very well have been foul, but Martin jumped on it so fast he wasn't going to give Rendazzo a chance to look at it.
1 on, 1 out, and a fastball for a strike. Darnell McDonald is 0 for 3.
The one thing, see, that line is obscured. The one that goes from home plate to third base, it's obscured right now because of all the traffic, so you don't know whether it's a fair ball or not. Nava looking back, should have been looking toward first. But that ball, from our view, it looked foul, but there's no line there to determine whether it's foul or not.
0-2 on McDonald. On deck is Scudero. One on, 1 out. And a strikeout out number 2. 96 from Belisario. Just great action on these pitches. That's a 96-mile-an-hour ball. It's just falling down through the strike zone.
Yeah, it seems like, normally when a guy throws a ball like that, it's a four-seamer because you need the seams for leverage to throw it that hard. Boy, we have seen some nasty relief pitching so far this afternoon.
Belisario's looking for his 21st scoreless outing in his last 25 tries as he deals way outside. Corralled by Russell Martin, the catcher. Ball 1. A leadoff hit by Bill Hall. Nava forced Hall at second on the bunt. McDonald struck out. And now Scudero, who's hit 4 home runs. He's 1 for 4. And a bit banged up. You heard the report from Ken Rosenthal earlier. Scudero told him he has to cheat on the fastball, meaning he has to start offering at it a little bit earlier because he is so injured with a dead muscle in his chest.
Yeah, and when you do that, that means you're vulnerable to any kind of breaking ball outside because you're already through the strike zone. One of the keys to hitting is waiting, and right now with his condition, he can't wait.
It's ball 2. This guy was just brought to the big league club today and was in the clubhouse for the first time at about 1:40 this afternoon. Robert Manuel, and he's getting loose. Here comes a 2-1. Inside with Dustin Pedroia on deck. If this game goes to the 10th, the Dodgers would have the top of their lineup. The 2, 3, and 4 hitters, and that means Manny Ramirez. Here comes a 3-1. Full count. And the runner at first will go. That's Nava.
I think you ought to hold the runner on in this situation to prevent him from scoring. I mean, it's the winning run, obviously. And if you hold him on, you prevent him from scoring on a short double.
There goes Nava. Ball 4. It's 2 on, 2 out for Pedroia. Here comes Joe Torre.
It may be a 4-out performance from Jonathan Broxton. That's exactly what Torre was going to do. We were talking about it earlier. So he's looking for Broxton to get out of the inning.
With Pedroia coming up and a chance to win it when we come back. I'll be on Fox. Tune in to win. Visit foxsports.com/tune in to see your results. If you missed this week's game, make sure to play next week. 2 on, 2 out. Broxton into the game to deal with Dustin Pedroia. He could win it for Boston. 4-4 the score. Ball 1. Since the start of last year, no pitcher in baseball has a higher strikeout per 9 innings pitched ratio than Broxton. A lot of body mass, and he puts it all behind his fastball. 1-0 pitch. Like that, 99, strike 1.
Talk about committing too early. Pedroia does. Tried to hold up but couldn't.
Dustin has a hit, 1 for 4. Lead runner is Nava at second base. Strike 2.
We talked about Scudero cheating earlier. You almost have to cheat with Broxton out there. And speaking of cheating, if you're the right fielder, the buddy of Pedroia, Andre Ethier, I think you cheat in a little bit more than you normally would because Pedroia guards the plate with 2 strikes. Not a lot of power with 2 strikes to right field.
Winning run at second, 2 out, 1-2 pitch. Line drive, base hit to right. Ethier will come up, throw it. Play at the plate, too late. Red Sox win it on a base hit by Pedroia to right.
It's been a happy group for the last month. And once again, Pedroia delivers. Cutting down on his swing. Ethier's throw up the line, and the Red Sox win another one.
This tremendous homestand continues. The Red Sox now 7-1. They beat LA last night. They beat LA today. And Dustin Pedroia, spark plug of this team, gets the base hit to right to win it. And it's a final of 5-4. Down to the field we go with Chris Rose. Chris.
All right, Joe, thank you very much. Those first two swings, I know they weren't exactly what you wanted, but that last one was awfully sweet.
Yeah, I mean, this interleague's a little different, but the first time you get a chance to face some of these guys, he's got the best stuff maybe I've ever seen. So I was just lucky enough to put it on the line.
How about with your vacationing buddy out there, Andre Ethier? You get to hold this one over his head now because he didn't throw your man out at home.
Just for tonight, he's had about 50 walk-offs already in a few years, so I'll get on him tonight, and then we got to go back to work tomorrow.
How do you put the magic together for this team? You've had so many injuries. I mean, you look at the outfield you started out here today, and you're like, well, this can't be the Boston Red Sox. How has it come together?
We're finding a way. We're playing good ball. The guys that are filling in are doing an unbelievable job, and we just got to keep it going.
All right, very good. All right, Joe, back on up to you.
All right, Chris, thank you. Here's the game-winning hit. A line drive into right, out of the reach of Loney, and by the time Ethier got it in his hand into the plate, it was too late. And that's the Just for Men Keep Your Edge spotlight. Just as Dustin Pedroia gave the Red Sox the edge, you too can keep your edge with Just for Men mustache and beard. And we go down to Ken Rosenthal. Ken?
Thanks, Joe. Victor, you guys have come a long way back. You were 8.5 games down. Now you're right in the thick of this thing. What has happened for this turnaround?
Well, you know what? Everybody knows. I mean, we got the talent in that room, and something that we're doing a pretty good job is we never quit. This is 162 games, a marathon, and we never quit. That's going to be for sure. We're going to come out every night and keep playing our game, keep playing hard, and let things happen.
Hey, what was more satisfying for you today? The 2-run homer or catching Tim Wakefield's good start?
Man, you know what? The offense is a plus. I really take a good pride in my defense, and everybody did. Every time that we win a game, that's all that matters. So.
How concerned were you, Victor, at the start of the season when things just didn't seem to be going right?
Well, you know what? The good thing is it's not the first time it happened. So I came out of it before, and the only thing that I can control is just come to the ballpark, keep working hard, and again, see what happens.
Victor, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Joe, back to you.
All right, Kenny, thank you. A 5-4 win for the Boston Red Sox. They love Dustin Pedroia. Petey